4. The Colonial Era in India. Question answer. Question 1. What is colonialism? Give 3 different definitions based on the chapter or on your knowledge. Answer. Colonialism. Political control. Dominance of one nation over another, e.g., Britain's takeover of India through the East India Company. Economic exploitation. Extraction of wealth for the colonizers' gain, like Britain draining India's resources to fuel its industrial revolution. Cultural imposition. Forcing culture, religion, or education, seen in the Portuguese Inquisition in Goa and Macaulay's Brown Englishmen policy. Question 2. Colonial rulers often claimed that their mission was to civilize the people they ruled. Based on the evidence in this chapter, do you think this was true in the case of India? Why or why not? Answer. The British civilizing mission was false, as policies focused on exploitation. Heavy taxes caused famines, example. Bengal famine, 1769–72, deindustrialization crippled textiles, and village self-rule was dismantled. Macaulay's education created loyal elites, not uplift. Railways and archaeology mainly served British interests. Resistance like the 1857 rebellion, and voices such as Dadabhai Naoroji and Begum Hazrat Mahal, exposed British rule as oppressive. Question 3. How was the British approach to colonizing India different from earlier European powers like the Portuguese or the French? Answer. Portuguese sought naval dominance, Cardas system, and conversions via the Goa Inquisition, but held only limited coastal control. French built trading posts like Pondicherry and under Dupleix, trained sepoys and used indirect rule, but lost influence after the Carnatic Wars. British transitioned from traders to rulers through the East India Company, using divide and rule, doctrine of lapse, and subsidiary alliances to expand. Unlike Portuguese zeal or French limits, they restructured India's economy, governance, and education for imperial gain, seen in deindustrialization and Macaulay's policies. Question 4. Indians funded their own subjugation. What does this mean in the context of British infrastructure projects in India, like the railway and telegraph networks? Answer. Indians funded their own subjugation means Indian tax revenues financed British projects like railways and telegraphs, which mainly served colonial trade and military control. Built with Indian money, these strengthened British dominance while burdening Indians, as noted in Dadabhai Naoroji's drain of wealth theory. Question 5. What does the phrase divide and rule mean? Give examples of how this was used by the British in India. Answer. Divide and rule was the British strategy of exploiting divisions among Indian rulers and communities to maintain control. Examples include the Battle of Plassey, 1757, where Clive conspired with Mir Jafar against Suraj ud-Dawla, fueling Hindu-Muslim tensions during the 1857 rebellion, and using subsidiary alliances, example, Hyderabad, 1798, to make rulers dependent on British power. Question 6. Choose one area of Indian life, such as agriculture, education, trade, or village life. How was it affected by colonial rule? Can you find any signs of those changes still with us today? Express your ideas through a short essay, a poem, a drawing, or a painting. Answer. Short essay. Impact on Indian education. British rule reshaped Indian education from a community-based system to one serving imperial needs. Pre-colonial India had pathshalas, madrasas, and viharas teaching practical and cultural knowledge in local languages, with reports noting 100, 000 to 150, 000 village schools in Bengal and Bihar by 1830. But Macaulay's 1835-minute dismissed Indian knowledge, promoting English medium education to create Brown Englishmen. This sidelined traditional schools, fostered an elite cut off from their heritage, and deepened social divides. English became a marker of prestige, marginalizing vernacular learning. The legacy persists in India's reliance on English for status and opportunity, seen in English medium schools and exams. Yet, regional language movements and efforts to revive traditional knowledge show resistance. Colonial disruption of indigenous education still shapes disparities and cultural identity debates today. Question 7. Imagine you are a reporter in 1857. Write a brief news report on Rani Lakshmibai's resistance at Jhansi. Include a timeline or storyboard showing how the rebellion began, spread, and ended, highlighting key events and leaders. Answer: news report. Rani Lakshmibai's heroic stand at Jhansi, June 1857. Jhansi, June 1857. Rani Lakshmibai, Queen of Jhansi, is leading a valiant defense against British attempts to annex her kingdom under the doctrine of lapse. After the British rejected her adopted son's claim to the throne, she rallied sepoys and locals to resist. With support from Tancha Tope, she commands with courage and skill, repelling early assaults. Her defiance inspires rebels across northern India, where uprisings spread to Kanpur and Lucknow amid anger over greased cartridges. The Rani has vowed to defend Jhansi to her last breath. Timeline of the 1857 rebellion. Mar 1857. Mangal Pandey attacks officers at Barrackpore, executed. May 1857. Sepoys at Meerut rebel, march to Delhi, proclaim Bahadur Shah Zafar leader. Jun 1857. Revolt spreads, Nana Sahib Kanpur, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Lucknow, Rani Lakshmibai, Jhansi. Sep 1857. British recapture Delhi with mass killings. Mar 1858. British besiege Jhansi. Rani escapes, seizes Gwalior with Tancha Tope. Jun 1858. Rani dies in battle at Gwalior. 1858-59. British crush revolt. Tancha Tope executed. Crown takes direct rule of India. Question 8. Imagine an alternate history where India was never colonized by European powers. Write a short story of about 300 words exploring how India might have developed on its own path. Answer: a free India's dawn in an uncolonized 1857. India thrives as a federation led by a revitalized Maratha Empire under Nana Sahib, allied with Mughal remnants and southern rulers. Forts guard trade routes, Kanhoji Anger's heirs maintain a strong navy, and ports like Surat and Calicut bustle with global trade. Artisans weave silks, forge woot steel, and scholars blend Sanskrit, Persian, and Tamil knowledge in thriving centers like Thanjavur. Without exploitative revenue policies, famines are rare, village councils manage resources, and women rulers continue Ahilyabai Holkar's legacy of education and infrastructure. The Federation treats European traders as equals while forging alliances with Japan and Persia. Though rivalries persist, a Grand Council in Delhi, inspired by Shivaji's Swarajya, mediates disputes. Poets like Bankim Chandra foster unity, with works such as Vande Mataram. By 1857, India stands prosperous, self-governing, and globally influential, free from the shadow of colonial subjugation. Question 9. Role play. Enact a historical discussion between a British official and an Indian personality, like Dadabhai Naoroji on the British colonial rule in India. Answer: historical discussion. British official versus Dadabhai Naoroji, 1901. Sir John Smith, British official, Mr. Naoroji, our rule has brought progress. Railways, telegraphs, English education. Surely you see the benefits. Naoroji, these benefits mask exploitation. Railways, built with Indian taxes, carry raw materials to Britain while artisans starve. In poverty and un-British rule in India, I show Britain drains pound 30 million yearly from us. Smith, yet we replaced chaotic princely rule with order and justice. Naoroji, you dismantled village republics, annexed states like Jhansi, and ignored famines. 10 million died in Bengal while taxes rose. Smith, still, our education opens opportunities. Naoroji, Macaulay's system scorns our heritage, producing clerks, not scholars. Our schools once taught practical skills. Now you create brown Englishmen. Smith, but under our protection, India shares in global trade. Naoroji, trade. Your tariffs ruined our textiles, reducing India's GDP share to 5%. We demand Swaraj, self-rule to restore prosperity. Moderator. Clearly, the debate reflects opposing views on whether British rule modernized or exploited India. Question 10. Explore a local resistance movement, tribal, peasant, or princely, from your state or region during the colonial period. Prepare a report or poster describing what was the specific trigger, if any? Who led the movement? What were their demands? How did the British respond? How is this event remembered today? Answer, report. Santhal Rebellion, 1855-1856. Trigger. Sparked by British land policies in the Santhal Parganas, which imposed cash taxes, backed moneylenders, and seized tribal lands. Forest restrictions further disrupted Santhal life. Leaders, brothers Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu, rallied thousands, calling for justice and self-rule. Demands, restoration of lands, an end to exploitative taxes, and establishment of a Santhal Raj, free from British and landlord control. British response. The British crushed the uprising with brutal force, burning villages, killing thousands, and executing Sidhu and Kanhu. Legacy, remembered as Haldiwas, June 30 in Jharkhand. Monuments, folk songs, and the Santhal Parganas Tenancy Act honor their fight for land rights and inspire tribal identity.